Hey everyone, and the lighting in here is awful, right? And on the seventh day, he said, "Let there be light." There we go, that's much better. All right, so I'm going to give it a few more minutes to get some people in here, get going with everything, and then I'm going to go ahead and start doing water changes on the tank and just kind of hanging out. Who do we have in here so far? Hope everybody had a good Christmas, got everything that you wanted, all your fish supplies and everything. If you can see, Andy was being a little naughty. I had to put the divider back in the tank. He was attacking Rip and it wasn't working out very well, so they're definitely not friends. Sadie is eating, yes. You hear that in the background, that's my dog eating. It's dinner time apparently. Alright, well I am going to go ahead and hook the siphon up so that way I can start draining water out of here. If you're in here, go ahead and throw me a shout out so I know who you are. What? Hey, what's going on, man? How are you? 23 Aquatics, good, thanks. How are you? I'm good, man. Had yesterday off, had today off, so of course I'm gonna do some fish things. Gonna stress Indy out by taking his water. So what I wanted to go over in this stream today was I need to clean my sponges in my sump. So I figured what I would do is I would show you guys how I clean the sponges in the sump and what you can do with that leftover stuff. So what's going to happen is I'm going to clean them out into a bucket. I'm going to get all this brown water, and I'm actually going to use that brown water to help cycle the new tanks that I have set up in the garage. So what that is that's full of live bacteria that's going to help start those filters out. So instead of just dumping it down the drain or putting it on my houseplants, I'm actually going to use it to help start the other tanks. 23 Aquatics. I'm going to make some gel food this weekend. I'll do a video on how I make it. It's all plant gelatin, no animal gelatin. There you go. Yeah. So I was wondering about that because I know a lot of the gelatin-based foods is animal products. So you grind the feed up and make the gelatin out of the collagen. So that'd definitely be something I'd be interested in watching. So what kind of fish projects have you guys been working on? Anything exciting? Anything new? Did you decide to tear down a guest bedroom and turn it into a whole wall of fish tanks? If you guys are having any issues with the stream, just let me know. If you're having any sound feedback, any video quality issues, anybody? You got any bitty issues? So, I've had a good week. I put up those 2 aquariums in the garage with that cinder block stand. Did a video on that and how I set it up. I moved the Cory babies over and got a bunch of plants in there to kind of help set up and cycle the tank. So definitely excited about that. Decided to do some water changes on the tanks, and I had a lot of fun last time we did the live stream, so I figured I would send the invitation out there, and anybody wanted to come and hang out while I do the water change, then perfect. So I was thinking of a few things that I could do on these live streams, and I know I don't have a lot of people that jump in here and really talk while in the chat, so it's basically me talking to myself and the occasional person that jumps in. So I was thinking of some topics that I could do to kind of just keep the ball rolling while we're waiting for people to talk and comment. And I know with Oscars, hole in the head is a big issue. That's one thing that you see a lot on the Facebook groups. And I kind of wanted to talk about that at some point and dive into the causes of hole in the head, how to prevent it, basically measures you could take to not get it, but also if it's already too late and that's something that you do have, ways to heal it so that way your fish isn't suffering. So Chris at 23 Aquatics, I have a group of Corridors Delphax. Not sure if I have bred them. There are 2 fry in there, but I could have transferred 2 bronze Cory eggs across. Yeah, if you had eggs anywhere on plants, stuff like that, they'll come over. Those eggs are sticky too. When I was trying to get those eggs into the breeder box and the container, they were sticking to everything. So any container I put it in, the eggs would get stuck to the walls, stuck to my fingers. They're super sticky. Oh, babe.
I was laying here, and then like pain in my head. You know what it was? Dizzy ball.
You were laying on her ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't feel good.
You know, he's not talking to you.
No, you're fine. going to fill this bucket up with some water so that way I have somewhere to clean those sponges. So I already have, of course, the filter unplugged and the heater unplugged. So that's one thing you got to remember when you're doing water changes. Watch out, Sadie. I couldn't figure out what that noise was. The hose leading outside was still draining water out to the yard. And so I could hear running water. It was kind of freaking me out for a second. All right, I'm going to bring you a little closer. That way you guys can see what I'm doing. So, need to, oh, there's all kinds of spider webs in there. Need to get my trickle filter out so that way I can clean the sponges. Just so you guys can see how I have this set up, maybe. So I do have a large coarse sponge in there, as well as some polyfill and a bunch of bio balls. This coarse sponge is really nice. It gets all of the large particles out of there. So that way if there's any leftover food, large bits of algae, it's going to go straight into this sponge first. I'm just going to give that a quick rinse in the bucket. So this will provide mechanical filtration as well as biological. But because it is a coarse sponge, it doesn't trap a lot of that fine particulates. So that's where this stuff comes in handy. So this is just bonded filter material, and this is going to trap more of that stuff in it to help filter out that water. And you don't want to use tap water when you do this, because you can actually kill your beneficial bacteria. And along with the bonded filter material, I use polyfill. So this is what's really polishing that water up and keeping out all of that fine particulate. So this is what makes your water super clear. So that's all done. I've got all of that beneficial bacteria in here. So if I have any tanks that I'm looking to start or newly started, using that, oh, sorry guys, that will help to get those tanks started with having added beneficial bacteria. So you can go out and buy bottled bacteria from the store, but a lot of times it's mostly enzymes and stuff. It's not actual live bacteria. So it's not giving you any of these cultures. It's just helping to jumpstart that system. 2 seconds.
Ow!
So besides Chris, who else is in here?
That's your ball. It's not your ball. What's yours? What's your ball?
Well, thank you guys so much for coming in and hanging out with me. Definitely enjoy the company while I'm doing water changes.
That's
So I went down to Plants and Fins today, the new store that just opened up here in Gilbert, and was checking out all the stuff that they have, and their setup's getting really elaborate. They put in all kinds of new tanks and have some ponds set up. I bought a few more mystery snails for the shrimp tank, so definitely excited about that.
Did you put her ball away?
Whose ball?
Sadie's?
Her rope ball?
Yeah.
No. She probably lost it.
I was gonna say she can't find it then.
That's her own fault. All right, well, I am going to get the hose started. Chris 23 Aquatics, you should do a video of the new store. It'd be nice to see other shop setups. Yeah, I was actually talking to him about doing a kind of like a walkthrough video. And I know they want to wait until they get some more stuff set up because it's only been a couple months since they've been at that location, and they're still getting everything going, but they're definitely like making some headway. It's looking really nice. So as soon as they give me the okay, I'm going to go in there and do a video for them. I also wanted to do some macro shots of their shrimp because they have some shrimp in there. So I was telling them that I was going to do some real nice close-ups. So definitely be excited to do something like that. And if you saw my other video, I did a walkthrough video of the ocean floor here in Phoenix. And it's, what was it, 15,000 square feet fish store? Like, this thing is massive. It used to be an old roller rink. So if you want to see a nice fish store, you should go check that video out. That was a lot of fun.
He's got no room to swim now.
He doesn't need room to swim. He could just lay there. Poor Andy. Andy's a butthole. He deserves some hard times every now and then.
I told him, you said that he deserves to suffer.
He deserves to suffer.
I told him you said that.
Andy, I didn't say that. Mom's lying. She's making up stories. Come on. All right, we'll go turn the hose on. I'll be right back. It's like a jacuzzi for Andy. He likes the bubbles, he told me. So one other thing I did want to do is, it's quite a bit of algae growth on the glass here, so I did want to get that off as well. And this has been by far the best thing that I have ever bought to get algae off the glass. With these T-Rex arms, definitely makes it so much easier on me to be able to reach into the tank with this. So if you're just joining us, I drained the tank. I'm now refilling it, as well as I had cleaned out my sump filters. I kind of showed you how I did that. Real basic. I take the filters out, the filter pads, put them in a bucket of tank water, kind of swish them around, and then I'm going to use that tank water to jump start my new tanks with the beneficial bacteria that I got out of those. Go ahead.
Turn the computer more towards you and get the back door out of it, because you can't see anything you're doing.
With the light?
Yeah.
Is that better?
So, yeah, much better. Yeah, you like front half of you and Indy's tank was all black or dark.
Gotcha. I think it's the time of day with the light coming through the window.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying, just to get the. It was like focusing on all the bright light in the door.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's much better.
I want to see if I can set that webcam up and have like one on me and then one on the tank. Because you could do it with like Streamlabs. Yeah, if you've ever had black beard algae in your tank, this stuff it's stuck on there pretty good. Watch out, Andy. That looks better. Here. We'll sit off to the side like this. That way you're not getting the blinding light from the back door. No idea what that was. Yeah, so I'm excited for those Cory babies. They're definitely getting big. It's January. It's not supposed to be hot in here. Gotta love living in Arizona. We had maybe 4 weeks of cold weather, and now it's back to like 70 degrees outside. It dropped down to 45, 50, maybe 34, but that was 6 weeks tops.
It got down to 30.
Did it?
It did.
That was probably the days we had to turn the heater on.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I had to bump the thermostats up in my tank. They weren't keeping up with the cold. I would come down in the morning and the tanks would be at like 73, 74. So I had to bump them up a little bit to accommodate for the colder weather. But normally they sit right at 77. No issues at all.
Look, I took it. Oh, you filmed it. You filmed your vlog. You know who really wants that? Yes. That really wants you gone.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my fridge likes to sing the song of its people every now and then. So if you hear that squealing, that is my fridge's fan motor. It needs to be replaced, but it hasn't gone out yet. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up the rest of this tank and then call it good. But I'm gonna cut the stream because my fridge is being obnoxious. So that's not something that I want you guys to have to endure. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's been fun hanging out with you. And Chris, definitely appreciate your interaction and you coming in here and hanging out. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day.